I've been robbed before. So I got home and said, oh, again. You look like you've been robbed every single day. And people are buying into the delusion because people just don't have identity anymore. So you've taught us all subjects, but you haven't taught us about ourselves. I don't care. I don't care because I'm not going to make a nuclear fusion bomb. Maybe for the first 12 years, I'm learning about identity and myself. To be an entrepreneur, you're not always in it for the money. You're in it for actually what could happen if you go take the next level of risk. Hey guys, so today I was asked some questions, and one of the questions that came up is how to make money out of zero money. I think you're going to enjoy this fly on the wall experience. See you soon. People don't realize you can be a broke entrepreneur. There's a broke that rich people know as well.
What's the broke that rich people know? Just living on credit.
You have so much money, but you've over leveraged in terms of your investments. And because you've tied your money, I've done it so many times. Once I get money, people get money and they spend. I get money and I invest. The moment you invest it and now it's tied into something that you can't liquidate quickly because it's in some investment protocol, you're broke again. And it's a different kind of broke because your broke might be 10,000 a month because your costs are now 30,000, 40,000. But it's still broke. Because what people don't realize, they go, tax the rich. Well, the rich have higher, you don't necessarily have more money because you have more money. Because if you have more money, you also have more costs. If you have more costs, actually somebody who has £1,000, who has costs of £20 is richer than someone who has £1 million, who has costs of 990 whatever thousand.
Yeah.
You're still richer because what makes you wealthy is not actually how much you have. What makes you wealthy is the difference between your cost and your income. See that? So this is the problem people don't realize. So they tax the rich. Well, now my guy owns a helicopter. Now he owns a private jet. Now he owns a mansion that requires cleaners and full-time staff and gardeners. Even for this place we're at now, gardeners, we can't clean this thing. Are you kidding?
Absolutely not.
Cleaning this house is a full-time job.
Yeah.
By the time you're done cleaning this house, your day's gone.
Yeah.
And by the time my kids have ransacked, you clean one room, the kids have ransacked that one. Unless you hold them hostage, we don't do that sometimes. Unless you hold them hostage in a room somewhere, they're going to destroy everything. Because then I got home, I thought I'd been robbed. I've been robbed before. So I got home, I said, oh, again. And then I was like, no, I have kids. That's what happened.
Wow.
They just trash your house so badly that you look like you've been robbed every day. And every parent can relate to it. You look like you've been robbed every single day. And no matter what you do, at some point you just go, just leave the mess there. I'm going to tidy it when they sleep. Because while they're awake, they're just going to make it even worse. So I can relate to, see, people don't think that rich people can relate to being broke. I study entrepreneurs, I watch entrepreneurs many times because to be an entrepreneur, you're not always in it for the money. You're in it for actually what could happen if you go take the next level of risk. If this happened at this level, this is what could happen. So you're always pushing the barrier of failure. So imagine now you make up your first million. Okay, you bought all the house, you bought all the nice stuff. What keeps entrepreneurs going is the desire to see more of their dreams fulfilled. And that's a very addictive thing. That you can see an Elon Musk go broke again after building a great business like PayPal, go completely bust. Why wouldn't you just stop? You got a nice car, you grew your hair back, you lost, like, why wouldn't you stop? Why are you giving yourself more headache? Then you got Tesla up, then you got SpaceX up, and that even went bust. NASA came and bailed it out, now that's back up. Now you bought Twitter, like what's wrong with you? At what point do you just say, it's not the addiction to seeing your dream come true. And the problem is this beast needs feeding. And the food it needs is money.
And that's what I was going to say. So what then happens, I've got this dream, I've got this ambition, I've got this thing that I want to do, but I also have no money.
See, this is what I'm saying. If you can't figure out that level, you won't figure out my level. Because there's always going to be that situation. So this is what again I'm trying, okay, so let's bring it to like, you're in this position, fuel or food, what do you do? Number one, get a job. Cash flow. You need cash coming in. If you don't have money coming in, either two things, get a job or own one.
What does that mean?
Owning a job is like, I have someone who I'm mentoring, she'll know I'm talking about her, but I said the same thing to her yesterday. I said, you have two choices right now, get a job or own a job. She said, what do you mean? I said, either go work for somebody and give me your time, or what skills you have right now that you can market and use. It's not a business because it's still a job, but you're going to own it because you have to decide when you wake up, go to sleep, etc. Right? You don't have a team yet. You don't have staff yet. Maybe you're doing content creation for a company that pays you 1,000. You got two companies doing it. Now it's 2,000. You're being paid. Own a job. I owned a job. How did I do it? I was working for someone 9 to 5, and then I decided I'm going to become an Uber driver. That's owning a job. So I own the car. Uber doesn't tell me when to work. I go when I want. If I'm working, however, I need to make money. So my thing for entrepreneurs is it's better to own it than to have it. Because that job can, by the time your energy's gone, there's nothing left for the day. All you want to do, in all honesty, is sit down and watch Netflix when you get home and just think about how miserable your life is till the next day you have to wake up and do the same thing over and over and over again. I'd rather own a job. Like somebody is a coach in a school. Maybe they can start a Saturday football club, charge all these kids whatever amount a month for their parents to be part of this club, get it into some small league or whatever, and that becomes something that pays them. Might not be as much as their job, but it gives them something. Point number 2, lower your costs. Drastically. Stop trying to compete with the Joneses. They don't care. Nobody cares. If you have the night, nobody cares. They'll care for a minute, like, ooh, nice car, but they're not going to help you pay the bill on that car.
Absolutely not.
They're not going to help you pay the bill on the cost, so you need to lower your costs. That might mean you can't buy, you can't buy Crunchy Nut. You might have to buy the Tesco Value Crunchy Nut. It's just the same thing. I found out, I was watching a program, they put the same thing in both boxes.
Absolutely.
You may not be able to buy Fairy Liquid with a nice logo. Buy the cheap one. Your toilet paper may not soften your bum. Yeah? Might actually get stuck in there, to be honest with you. Get that cheap one.
You should be using butt wipes then. Why are you not using butt wipes?
Get some liquid butt wipes. I'm sorry, but right now, maybe Lenore isn't your brand.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Lenore. Maybe it's just the Audi special jumbo pack. Just go and manage your life with it. Yeah? But it's temporary. Keep the cost low. Don't impress anybody. It's a waste of time. Don't impress anyone. Don't live for it's all about your ego at the end of the day, and you're going to kill yourself funding your ego. Yeah? And that's where people spend money to look rich as opposed to be rich. Third thing you want to make sure you do, write a list of your assets versus your liabilities. Most, if not all, I can tell you this simple fact, broke people don't have assets. This is why I said there's a difference in business and the business of money. Business, I can run a business and it makes money. But the business of money is how I generate more money. Right. How do you generate more money? Become asset-minded, asset paradigm. So write your assets and your liabilities. Rich people simply have more assets than liabilities. There's nothing else to it. Rich people have more assets than they do liabilities. Poor people have assets.
Poor people have assets.
But they're called liabilities.
What do you mean?
They have assets they do nothing with. That's why they're liabilities. You have a car. It's sitting on your drive, doing nothing. You even take the train to work every day, and that car is doing nothing. That car, put on an app, becomes an asset the moment somebody's paying more than the cost you pay for the car.
Yeah.
Now that same liability, but I just don't want anybody sitting in my car. That's why broke people never get rich, because they have too much ownership over what they have, whereas rich people relinquish ownership to have more. Rich people are quicker at relinquishing ownership. Poor people are very sentimental. They're sentimental over broken value systems as well. They hold on to them. So you have to turn your liabilities into assets. You have to think about what other liabilities you have. A book in your head is a liability. So you write it, that thing doesn't become an asset. Oh, but I just don't like reading, I don't like writing. Well, why don't you write short books and sell them? The fact that you can cook is a liability. Great. Well, why don't you write a recipe book, or why don't you start doing a blog about cooking and then sell that? Now you can turn your thoughts into assets. We live in that world that people are buying information.
Yeah.
You turn your thoughts into assets. You've created something. You might have an outhouse in your house. That becomes an asset. You might have a spare room in the place you live. Rent it out. It becomes an asset. You might have camera equipment that only you use. Get some insurance on it, rent it out. That camera equipment now becomes an asset. Other people use it. It becomes a hiring company, and then you can buy more equipment. So there are plenty of liabilities that can turn into assets. The other thing is rich people are quicker at creating assets than poor people. And assets pay you, liabilities pay the world. So that's the simple difference. If people can do those things, and then finally rinse and repeat that process, generate more assets. Keep thinking about, how can I even, look at your liabilities, how can I make you an asset? How can I turn this thing that is a liability in my life right now, how can I turn that into an asset at this moment?
But how do people, excuse me, determine if something is really worth selling and if there's an audience? Because there's no point having a product that no one is willing to buy.
Correct.
So let's say, for example, you are, let's say, typical scenario, right? You, single mom, on benefits. You know, you don't really have much. Literally choosing between fuel and food, and then, you know, like you said, you can even turn your thoughts into that. But what if they're like, but who's gonna buy that? Who's gonna buy, I don't know, a short story?
This is the story I always tell. It's a biblical story about a man who goes to a prophet who goes to a woman, and she goes, "Hey, prophet, man, I'm about to lose everything I got. We're gonna die. We're in famine." And then the prophet says these simple questions: "What do you have in your house?" She goes, "Nothing, just a pot of oil." Think about it. A pot of oil. She called it nothing. She said, "I have nothing." This is what people do with their gifts. Got nothing. I'm a good mum. That's a sellable trait. How many people want to learn how to be good mums? How many people would sign up for a mum coaching course? They're out there. They may not be where you are. So what does the prophet say? He says, go and find empty vessels. What does that mean? Go and find the demand for what you have. The problem I find with people is they're trying to give what they have to places that don't honor what they carry. And not everywhere is your market. You may actually have to. And the beautiful thing is you don't physically need to move. The internet has made the world open to you.
Yeah.
Right now, there are people searching on Google, mom coaching, or help, I'm a mom, or how 6 ways to raise my children, or people are searching.
Yeah.
They're Googling it now. You just need to find the analytics for what people are searching and put yourself in that place. Now you create some website free of charge on Wix.com. Maybe it's a little bit of money, I don't know, but it's not super expensive. You create a website, you make it beautiful, you create your own branding, you use Canva or whatever, you become resourceful. And now you become a mum coach. Anything can happen now because you're stirring up the waters. Maybe Channel 4 hears about you like they did with Super Nanny. Now Channel 4 wants to do a documentary on you. But see, rich people have always, they're not lucky, they create luck. You've got to put yourself in a position where you can create your own luck. You don't create your own luck wondering if anybody ever wants what you have. If you want what you have, there's a group of people who might want it. There's a woman who's a millionaire today who sold farts.
Yeah, in jars.
In jars.
On like eBay or something.
Yeah, multi-millionaire. Who would have thought someone wants your fart? And people will pay big money for your fart. There's somebody else, a group of kids who became millionaires, selling air. They'll go to countries, swipe the air, close it, and say, this was from China, swipe the air, close it, this is America, close it. This is an auction that made ridiculous amounts of money doing it. So if somebody wants air, there's a consumer base for what you have. So nobody's undermining it, you're undermining it.
And then the last question I had, how do you create demand? How do you market yourself? How do you make yourself marketable even? You know, especially if you've got no experience in branding or being a brand or anything like that, because I'm not going to lie to you. I think the other side, because in theory it sounds great, but I think the other side also, I've seen, you know, people, I guess maybe because I look at things from like a branding perspective, where I see they'll come online and they're really trying, but it's like, ooh, you know a lot of work, and obviously you learn over time and it grows, etc. But I'm talking about the people that are desperate. They're like, today something has to shift in my life, something has to change. How do you become marketable?
Hey.
Quite a big question.
Well, you have to figure out what is marketable. Maybe you're not marketable.
Right.
Some people are not. Some people's products are more marketable than they are. You have to figure out what the main brand is. Is the main brand what you do, or is the main brand who you are? You have to figure out, and the only way to figure out that out is, why are people coming to you? Why should people come to you? Some people believe that they're brandable or marketable and they should be on the forefront of everything, but they're about as boring as watching paint dry, and they shouldn't be on the forefront of just about anything, nothing, but they feel that that's their position. And this is where emotional intelligence comes into play. Some people shouldn't be doing Instagram lives.
Yeah.
It's like being on a set. It's like being on a set of Steven Spielberg and watching Tom Cruise and thinking everyone loves him, and you move from behind the camera to the front and go, me now, and you stand there. Your place is actually better behind the camera. Some people shouldn't be behind the camera; they should be in front, of course. But a lot of people, the best place is where they're designed to be, and this is where emotional intelligence comes in. What is emotional intelligence? It's the full knowledge of your design and your destiny. Those two things. I have to be so acquainted with my design. Am I funny? Use it. That's why this is why Chris Rock is a complete and utter genius. Because, what did Einstein say? Everybody's a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, even the fish will believe it's stupid. Chris Rock is a genius because he's not trying to be a fish climbing a tree. He's a fish in water. A fish looks stupid outside of water, but in its environment, it's a genius. The guy is funny. He's not trying to do anything else but be funny. Steven Spielberg is a great director. He's not trying to be an actor. He's a director. Michael Jordan is a phenomenal basketball player. The day that man went to baseball, he looked like a fool.
He played baseball? He did that?
Yes. He left his basketball to go play baseball because he wanted to do it. But your design is telling you you're lanky as anything. You're dexterous. Everything about you is telling you what you're designed for.
Yeah.
A musician is an idiot if they're in medical school.
Yeah.
Someone in medical school is stupid if they're in architecture. I'm not an artist. I'd be dumb today to become an artist. Even if I really desire to draw. Oh my goodness. It's just that whatever I see in my brain doesn't plan out on paper. And I see other people, they can just draw from their head. And don't we all hate them? Because they're in this office, yeah? I would be dumb to... It doesn't mean I can't do it as a hobby, as an interest. But to make that my main thing, what a fail. They were playing with, the Chinese table tennis players. They play with a handicap. They play with the thing under, some of them. They used to back in the day like this. They said, how do they play like that? And yet they're winning. It's actually a severe handicap, that somebody was saying. He said, well, what we do is we focus so much on the strength only. The strength eradicates the weaknesses. Lean into your strengths. Why? Because you suck at everything else. And this is the problem with school. School has lowered people's self-esteem because it tried to make you good at every subject. You can't be. What school should have done is gone, you're an artist, go to our school. And of course, there's time to discover, but parents, before you put your kids in school, they should... I wish there was a way parents were taught to help your kids discover their design. There should by now be some kind of test. We know your personality. We should be able to discover your design, your pedigree, your family, so we know the likelihood of what you're going to do with your life. By around 4 or 5, you already can figure out your kids.
Yeah.
Elijah's tech savvy. He should be creating games and coding and all kinds of stuff. Yana, she's musical, she's artistic, she can dance, she's creative. She should be in some kind of acting school. Kason looks like an orator to me. He looks like somebody who will speak and connect with a crowd very well. But you start to figure these things out as you watch your kids, and then school goes and destroys them. Because school says, be good at everything. And now that kid's sat in front of the teacher and the teacher goes, your child is bad. He's not a bad kid. You're just forcing a square peg into a round hole and he doesn't fit there.
Yeah, that's right.
If you instead just didn't do school this early, just let them learn who they are. Figure out their purpose, their destiny, put them in environments and watch what they play with, watch what they touch, what they gravitate to. Give them a buffet of things to choose from. Then when they choose a certain thing that drives in the area of passion, focus on it. Now you got a school. I went and learned trigonometry, sine, cosine, something that I don't even remember. Huh? I don't remember. I didn't even know how to use it then. I went to a school to work once. I got anxiety. During chemistry class, they're asking us to do the equation where you move the chemicals, how many hydrogens is now here, and how many... I don't care. I don't care because I'm not going to make a nuclear fusion bomb. I'm not planning on doing it ever in my life. I don't care.
Shouldn't they prepare you just in case you do change it or you want to explore a new subject? No. I'm just asking. I'm just trying to, throw things out there.
Man, this is where spirituality is so important. This is why you need prophets. Imagine from the day Jesus was born, he was already told what he was going to be, what the child was going to become. Right. And his mom could treasure these things in her heart so that if he acts any certain way, she already knows this is according to his design. This isn't misbehavior. This is design. Design is always talking, and the subject kids should learn in school is personal design. That's it first. Maybe for the first 12 years, I'm learning about identity and myself. Now the whole world is suffering from an identity crisis. I won't go too deep into it, but they're suffering from serious identity crisis. Chronic identity crisis. And people are buying into the delusion because people just don't have identity anymore. So you've taught us all subjects, but you haven't taught us about ourselves. So when I finally finish my school, then you say, what do you want to do in university? Well, I don't know. I don't know because you didn't spend the time teaching me my design. You spent me so much time learning what other people have thought. So that's emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is discovery of design and destiny. It's very clear when you see a key. If you put it, key is design, keyhole is destiny. When you see the design of a key, you start trying to force it into a hole that it doesn't belong to. It's very clear that that's not its destiny anymore. Kids should be focused on discovering their design. I should be having personality tests in school. I should be taught about my particular personality. I should be having passion examinations where somebody's saying, testing me on what I'm most passionate about. There should be clusters. Are you a creative? Are you this? Are you that? Then I should have some 7 sphere school where I go, okay, media focus us and say, it's now the church is trying to teach it, and now you've been messed up by the school system. How are you even going to upend all of that knowledge to even teach you what you should have already known from time? And now you're shoved in some job somewhere, and now you're too preoccupied to even think about your assignment in this world. So that's the mess of life. So guys, tell me, what did you get from it? Comment below. What are the current liabilities you have that you could potentially turn into assets? Do you currently even have assets? Please also do me a favor, subscribe, like, and share. See you at the top.